Hey there, everybody. Pete here from Comic Book Users. Welcome to another edition of our show. We've got another artist spotlight for you today, and I got my co-host sitting right here, as always.
Hello again, comic book fans. Welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Users. I am Wild Bill, your host, and we are going to do a tribute to Gene Colan.
Yeah, a great, great artist who worked with both Marvel and DC and whatever. He was a New Yorker, right from New Rochelle, New York. Sadly, we lost him in 2011. But man, it's amazing. You know, whenever we do these spotlight shows on particular artists, you start to do a little research and you forget just how many great books some of these guys worked on.
Oh, yeah.
And Gene Colan was doing so much, and so prolific, and so amazing.
Did Daredevil.
Did a bunch of Daredevil, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is my oldest in my collection. This is number 23. And I picked this up this spring. The Gladiator. And he just had a knack for doing great action scenes, I thought.
Yes, yeah, without a doubt.
And just to give you an idea, again with the Gladiator, some Daredevil. This is probably 1972.
Yeah.
Got this from our buddy Paul. I got this from our buddies in Texas. And I got this because it had Electro in it. But yeah, he just captured, I mean, the detail, you know, is just phenomenal.
He was great at drawing like human beings, like even like non-superhero, supervillain faces and things like that.
Look at that, you know?
Yeah, but action stuff, forget it. It's one of the best. And he had a softness and an atmospheric way to his art style, which I always really, really liked, and it really lent itself to some specific characters, I thought. You know,
Issue
Daredevil was
100. I have some more Daredevils, but I'll let you take over.
So let's.
What do you want to show?
He did some stuff on the Avengers. Okay, so here we have him depicting the swordsman. You got Hercules at the bottom. You got Yellow Jacket over there.
That's a nice looking book, man.
Yeah, I just
Push
got
that
this.
up a little.
I just got this. I have not even read it yet.
Get your glare out of there. What number is that?
This is
65?
65, yes.
That's a really nice
He didn't
book.
work too long on the Avengers, but he did a bunch of issues in the 60s, which is really cool. Something else, you know, very notable, he did a lot of the early Captain Marvel
I
stuff.
need this one.
Here's the first one. I mean, it's just unmistakable Gene Colan. He had this way. And I know we talk about that a lot. A lot of these artists, these famous artists, just had a certain style that was just all them. I'll let you take
some more Daredevil. Old costume versus new costume. I always loved this cover. Issue 155.
And before he came to Marvel, you know, he worked with Timely Comics way back in the 40s and 50s, but then he went to DC for a while. He worked on like a lot of like romance and Western comics.
This is like one of the best
that's
covers, man.
Yeah, that's.
And then the next issue is with Frank Miller. But this is 157, and I got this from my friend Joe when I was a teenager. You know, this was like one of my favorite Daredevil covers from the 150 run, the issues in the 150s. It's just superb.
It is.
You know?
And I see, when I look at that cover specifically right there, because, you know, everybody's style differs a little bit from decade to decade. This was right around the time where he was also working on Howard the Duck, too, which we're going to show you coming up.
Yep.
And the way he kind of crafted kind of like these fantastic and spooky kind of imagery. You can even see it on here. I mean, look at the villain, the reaction of all the other heroes. Very, very cool stuff.
Can I show something else while I hold this up?
Yeah.
Focus on Captain America, and then look at this Captain America from 1969. And they're almost the same.
Yeah.
You know? So
consistency.
Yes, that's the word. Consistency. He had it. And that's a trait with all good artists.
Yeah. So we're going to show you. So we both got some caps right here on the. So we showed you this in our Captain America top 5 villains and top 5 one-hit wonders. This is Gene working on the Man Brute there. Very cool cover, like Bill says.
What number was
action. That is number 121. And then I don't have the first appearance of the Falcon. That's on my must-get list. But here's the second, number 118. Again, classic early Falcon, and we tend to forget that Gene Colan co-created the Falcon. You know. So.
And here's 127.
Ooh. As it goes flying.
Yeah. I got this last year when we did that little show out in the streets.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Mount
Yeah.
Vernon.
Yeah.
133, I just got this recently. That's it. That's just a great cover, man.
Yeah.
That's just some really good colors. And, you know, a lot of detail. MODOK on the cover there.
And we haven't even opened up any yet. We're going to do that. I think we should do that with these old Doctor Stranges coming up. But we got more cap here to show you.
The oldest in my collection for the longest time, back in the 80s, this was the oldest Captain America in my collection. And of course I had to get it because of Spider-Man. And obviously it's also great because of the original costume of the Falcon. So... Doctor Strange, you mentioned?
Yeah, so I'm going to show you a couple of covers, and then I'm going to open up one of these. And so he worked on the first volume of Doctor Strange after he left Strange Tales, and also worked on the second volume.
Volume 2.
So we both have a lot of those. I brought some of the original. Bill's going to show you the second one. So, and then while Bill is showing his, I'm going to open up one of these and just show you. I mean, it's just, you know... Not every artist could do Doctor Strange. I think Steve Ditko was great at it, and I think that Gene Colan was also masterful at Doctor Strange. And here we had his introduction of Doc with the face mask, which we only saw for a handful of issues, which I thought was pretty kind of cool. And then here we got him with the Black Knight. Again, this is classic Gene Colan artwork there. And perhaps my favorite cover all time of Gene Colan's right here. Oh, yeah. With Eternity. I mean, just...
That's a great cover.
This is the one I'm going to open up, actually. So I'll show you this one where he's fighting the Juggernaut, another great one, which I failed to show in our Juggernaut episode way back when. We have to do another one.
There it is now.
Yeah, there it is now. While Bill is showing those, I'm going to open up the one where he's fighting Eternity, because I think it's...
Volume 2? This is issue 11?
Yeah, that's great. Look at that.
This is probably, like, what, 1974?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And, go ahead. We got
classic.
I need issue that's 11. I have 12, but I need issue 13. But issue 14 is great because look, Tomb of Dracula. Dracula's on there.
We're going to talk more about him in just a minute.
Dracula. Yeah, we're saving the best for last, of course. Hint, hint.
All right, so I got to show you a couple pages here. Look at that beautifulness. And we talk about splash pages all the time, right? So. Check this shit out. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous. Like I said, not every artist could tackle this character like Gene Colan. And other than Steve Ditko, I don't think there was anybody else in, Marvel who could do what he did with this character.
While he's flipping through, this is issue 18. Look at the detail on this cover. What a beautiful cover.
Fantastic. Those are all great.
And I'm just starting to build up my Doctor Strange collection. I don't have a lot of them, but I'm getting there. I have I'd like to get the first 35, and that's it.
I mean, just look at this. This beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Ugh.
This is issue 19. Again, great detail, I mean, how can you not want to open this book up and see what's going on,
And, based on how well he did both Tomb of Dracula and Doctor Strange, if I was like the editor at Marvel, I would have had him on horror comics all the time.
Strange Tales. This is a Gil Kane cover, but issue 170 through 174, Gene Colan did the inside.
Yeah. And let's take a look at it. And again, a perfect character for him based on what we just talked about.
Supernatural, Brother Voodoo.
Yep.
So let's look for a good example.
All
All
you have to see is one panel, and you're like, "Yep, that's."
Yeah. Here you go. There's our lighting. Good with lighting. The eyes. I mean, come on.
So good with faces. I mean, really good with human faces.
I'm going to see if I can find a splash page for you guys. I like this one with the...
Yeah.
Right there. Fire-breathing dragon.
Ah! Gotta love it.
What else? Usually in the center folder.
Spectacular stuff. Yeah.
Alright. We can look for a splash page. Oh, why not page 1?
There we go. Oh, beautiful. Perfect.
Great detail.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Cool character, which I've heard rumblings might show up in that next Doctor Strange movie.
I thought you were going to say my stomach was rumbling. We're getting ready for lunch. I was like, oops, sorry. But again, more detail. Brother Voodoo fighting the Python.
Yep.
Just good stuff. I mean, very talented. He also worked on a couple of issues of Marvel Spotlight. He did 18 and 19. But again, this is a Gil Kane cover. but Gene Colan on the inside.
Yep.
But this is a Gene Colan cover. Submariner number 11.
Classic 70. In Tales to Astonish, he actually got his start back with Marvel in Tales to Astonish, drawing Namor.
I picked this up about 3 years ago, and it was the first Submariner in my collection in the 40s. Pete has them all. I only had a handful. Now I've got like almost half of them. So slowly growing.
That's another Gil Kane cover with Gene Colan on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a masterful job on Submariner also, and didn't do enough of them in my opinion.
You mentioned Tales, Astonishing Tales. He did issue 7 and 8.
Dr. Doom.
And here's issue 8. I recently got this past year from our buddies in Texas. Great cover. I've needed this for a long time. I need issue 12 to finish the run.
Really? That's
yeah.
very cool. Wow.
And I saw it for $1 at the con, but it was kind of beat up, I passed on it.
Yeah, you'll see it again.
So, what else do you want to show them?
Well, let's start off. Let's leave the big baddie for last. Yeah.
So, Howard the Duck, issue number 1. I finally got a hold of it, and he did what, the first 20 issues, you said?
Or most of them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did. So when you told me that, and I was doing my homework, I recently got this at the candy store. And this is also like a spin-off of what? Spider-Man number 50. The first Kingpin? Where Spider-Man's throwing the towel.
Packing it in. Sufi.
Issue 20.
Sud. Not Sufi, Sud. Sorry. Howard the Duck had so many great wacky villains. Yeah.
He also worked on Batman.
Yeah, that's a classic cover. Right
and I got home late last night. I would have pulled more Batman, but I pulled so much stuff. I just didn't get to the rest of my Batmans. But we also know that he was notoriously famous for the entire run of the Tomb of Dracula, our most famous.
To every single issue, all 71 of them.
70.
70, sorry. Yeah. I was counting the...
that's all right.
Plus he had the
giant size.
Giant size, yeah. He may not have drawn every single cover, but all the artwork was all...
This is a Neil Adams cover.
Yep.
But Gene Colan did the artwork for the rest of them. On the inside and outside, correct? He did all the covers after this?
Not all of them, but a good chunk of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he do this one?
He did.
All right, show it.
Well, he actually was the co-creator of Blade. This is the actual issue. This
is the reprint, because I don't have the money for that new one.
So, how much did they charge for that?
This was $4.
$4. That's the new one. They just released that.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
This just came out a couple months ago.
You want to know what I paid for this?
$4?
No. No, I did not.
Over 100?
Over 100.
But you got it. But it was. That was a good price for you because it was a low grade, but it still looks like a great book.
It's got a little bit of a crease on the front, but otherwise it's in great condition.
I got this because I need issue 10 and issue 13 to finish the run, and it's kind of out of my price range. I mean, if I find a copy like you have, believe me, I'm going to jump on it. But I needed to fill the gap, so I went for it. You know,
why not, right?
Yeah, and so I'm glad to add it. This was the first in my collection from my friend Joe. I had 12 and 15 from my friend Joe. They were the only two Tomb of Draculas in my collection until I started recollecting again in 2016. All right. So
I've decided I'm going to open up number 10.
Okay.
Because we got to take it.
While you're doing that, I'll show off the awesomeness of cover 16.
Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, and again, we always talk about the damsel in distress.
There's always a damsel in distress.
Yes.
Always.
Damsel. I said damsel.
There you have the first panel of Blade.
Wow.
Very cool.
And you know, Werewolf by Night, I had to pull this one to show you guys because you guys love monsters as much as we do. Awesome cover. I found this one at a flea market like 3 years ago, and this guy wanted a pretty penny for it. I was able to haggle. But again, a great cover. The action on it is just superb.
Haggle be daggle.
Look at the screaming face of Dracula and the wretchedness of the hands, the detail. Just really, really good stuff.
Here you have Drac and Blade going at it. It's really a good issue, and you know, is it worth the hundreds of dollars that they're asking for it? You be the judge, but it's. I'm glad.
Look at this cover, man! I just got this.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, I
just got this a couple of years ago at a flea market.
Again, masterful use of horror elements there.
And
right?
the fire coming out of Satan's mouth there. I mean, it's just...
Great stuff.
Yeah, the horns on his head, you know. And again, damsel in distress.
I don't know who did the inking on that, but really good use of
Tom
colors.
Palmer.
It was Tom Palmer. Yeah,
Palmer
that's right.
was with him the whole run.
The whole run. That's right.
right.
Yep.
And we never give Tom Palmer any credit.
We don't. Honestly, we don't give the inkers enough credit on this show. We probably should.
Tom Palmer was an excellent pairing with Gene Colan.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good idea for a show. We should one of these days do a show where we talk about like the 5 or 10 greatest artist-inker pairings, right?
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of great artists who maybe didn't look as great with certain inkers, but with others like perfect, like like Kirby and Sinnott, Colan and Palmer. We should really do our research and do a show like that. I think that'd be really cool because we don't give enough credit to the inkers, and quite frankly,
they're the ones that
they're the MVPs.
Artists.
Absolutely,
they make the artists pop.
Absolutely,
and we've seen people complain in like Facebook groups where the inkers bring the art down.
Absolutely, but I agree. Yeah, I agree. So,
but this is the last in the run of Tomb of Dracula, issue 70. And this is the last book we have to show you in our tribute to Gene Colan.
Yeah.
So I'm Wild Bill from Comic Book Geezer saying thanks for being here with us. And we appreciate your comments and your subscriptions as always. And we thank you for watching. And come back and see us again soon. I'm Wild Bill saying thanks for being here.
And I'm Pete. And before we go, a thank you to all the wonderful, many, many years of great artwork from Gene Colan. He truly has always been one of my favorite artists. And I think it was an extreme honor to do a show like this in his memory. So and go out and enjoy the work of Gene Colan. There's lots of it out there. We just scratched the surface here. So yeah, so go enjoy his artwork. Gene Colan will live on forever, and we'll see you guys next week with another episode of Comic Book Geezers.
Thanks for being here, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.